welcome, Rotarians. It's officially called to order. I'll take that out of the way. That was for last week for good luck. So I have that going. Karen, I believe you are our invocator today.
I am. So I was thinking a lot about, we're making a lot of decisions in the world about leadership. So I found a little a reading on servant leadership. A leader can select from two fundamental but opposing orientations towards his or her organization. One paradigm prompts him or her to take from the organization as many perks and privileges as possible. In this model, the organization exists to provide a title, a job, status, and service. The second orientation asks the leader to evaluate what he or she can contribute or put into the organization. In this scenario, the leader takes what is needed from the organization, but his or her passion is to make it great, to serve its needs. The leader following the latter course is a servant leader, and Barnabas effectively modeled this approach. His life teaches its systematic principle. Simply put, Barnabas was a man who was convinced that God had placed him on earth to help others to live productive and satisfying lives. The manner in which a leader uses his or her power will indicate the quality of his or her leadership. Good leaders do good things. Their lives matter. That's good. Servant leaders do great things. They help others live lives to matter by serving them. Servant leadership is great leadership. Barnabas's life illustrates numerous leadership truths, but servant leadership is certainly one of the most important. Paul singled out Timothy as one of a rare breed when he commended him to the Philippian church as a leader who would serve them well. Our power is to be used to serve others. As Rotarians, we already have that pattern of servant leadership in our hearts. I ask for blessing on each of you as you ponder this message of how you are showing servant leadership in the coming week.
Thank you. Very nice, Karen. And now we have our Pledge of Allegiance. I'll try and get the flag in here. There we go. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test. We'll put a slide up to make sure that those of you relatively newbies can say the four-way test. All right, four-way test. Is it the truth?
Truth.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it
Good goodwill and better friendships.
Will it be
Beneficial to all concerned. All right, well, thank you. And Connor Jarvis, I believe you are our greeter. Have you spotted any guests amongst us? Connor Jarvis?
Sorry, I was muted. So far, unless I'm just not being successful in painting the room, other than our esteemed guest speaker today, I do not see any guests at the moment. Well, I will say Lorraine Gervasi, who we've greeted as a guest several times now, who is going to be confirmed as a member here very soon. We're looking forward to that. So Lorraine, thanks for being on again. I do see you here. And other than that, though, anyone have a guest here or know of anyone else that's on? Because I don't see anyone on my end yet, or that I'd be aware of that's a guest.
All right. If a guest does join, please prompt them to introduce themselves later on in the meeting.
Oh, Jan Bradle, that's here. Jan, are you a guest? I apologize.
No, she's a member.
Yeah, okay. I believe so.
Yes, she's a member.
And I'm just fielding a few suggestions that were sent to me from the crowd here. I believe that's all I'm seeing though so far. So just our guest speaker for today, Dr. Rob, as of this moment.
All right. Well, thank you, Connor. And you'll help us moderate the chat room during the speech.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Normally this time we would have had our in-person lottery. We made it virtual, but the kitty is not yet full to be able to pay out the lotto from 2 weeks ago. So David Hall says we'll defer that one more week and then we'll be back to our lotto. Now it's time for the icebreaker. And I may be tied up in a meeting next week during Rotary that was imposed on my schedule by my boss. So I want to pull the season forward a little bit. And Cheryl, could you show this slide? All right, I wanted you to see that Rob McGregor did have hair one day. This is actually 25 years ago, but this was kind of one of the most memorable costumes we came up with, where I actually played the flying carpet, and that's my youngest daughter, Princess Jasmine. So we were preparing to go out to trick or treat. With that in mind, I would like you all to reflect on one of the most memorable costumes you wore, either the good, the bad, or the ugly. And I also would like you, if you have photos, just put those in. I think those would be a fun add to our newsletter. So Cheryl tells me if we can get them in by Friday or by Thursday at 5 p.m., we'll add that to the newsletter. Okay, so we're ready to go. For those of you who haven't been here since the pandemic, this is where I scroll through my screen. And Dave Miller, tell us about your costume of memory.
So I will send this picture. It was 2 years ago. Our whole family dressed up as the Harry Potter character. So I was Hagrid, my wife was Professor McGonagall, and my son was Harry Potter, and my daughter was Hermione. So with any of you that know Harry Potter, the costumes can be a little elaborate. So I will make sure that I share that picture so you could all see it.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay, Lorraine, how about that? You're not inducted yet, but I'm gonna nab you. How about a memorable Halloween costume?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of one. I believe one time I dressed up like Smurfette.
Yeah, all right. A little blue.
Yep.
Mella, tell us about a costume that comes to your mind. Mella, are you muted? 1 minute, she says. There
Hi.
she goes.
Okay, there I am. Sorry, because I had you on the main screen and I had to go searching for me. So, hey, I honestly can be honest that I have not dressed in a costume since I was a young kid trick-or-treating with my brother. I'm not a costume person, and I get made fun of all the time. But I will say we did the Halloween charity ball that Rotary Camp benefited, was a benefactor of a few years ago. And so Dan Reynolds and I and JD went, and we were superheroes. We were Rotary Camp superheroes with capes and everything. So
that's good. Thank you. Connor Jarvis shared in the chat room one that we don't want him to send a picture in, but he went as a costume ever.
Low cost, guys. It was really easy.
You don't know what that cost you now, buddy.
That's right. That's right. Back.
All right, Janice Radel, can you tell us about a costume that comes to your mind? You're muted. Janice, you're on mute.
Am I okay now?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot think of anything, although I can remember my little girl. For some reason, her politics were different even at age 10. She decided she wanted to be Nancy Reagan. So we were walking around the neighborhood and she had her Nancy Reagan out. She just loved this woman. So that was the costume that we still laugh about. But,
that seems pretty memorable.
Yeah.
All right, Richard Fry. Do you have a costume that comes to mind?
Well, what came to mind is actually an accidental costume. Last year, I went to a Halloween party straight from work, and I was wearing a navy suit and a red tie, and someone thought I was Donald Trump, and I didn't really have any costume on. So I played that up for the whole night, though.
Well, that was a good way to pivot and leverage the audience. Hugh, I often see pictures of you and your friend doing lots of things. I don't think I've seen a Halloween picture yet. Tell me what you guys dressed up as.
Well, we have not dressed up. However, back in the early days of the Big Apple, if anybody remembers that nightclub out on Route 8, I did dress up. I had a old grandfather mask on, and I had a tux on the top, but on the bottom, it was just tights. So it was quite interesting as at that age, many of the people at the Big Apple were liked it quite a bit.
Well, that's colorful too. You could just show us a top up picture for the newsletter though. Okay, we got to keep it PG. And finally, we're going to ask Jack Herrig and his bride if they have some memorable costumes. Jack's trying to get off mute if you don't have him on your screen. And it's sticking. All right, Jack, Cheryl, while Jack's doing that, can you share the costume that you told me about yesterday when I said it this morning? And you're muted too, Cheryl. Cheryl, you're muted.
I'm clear now.
Go ahead, Jack. You can go first.
Well, I can't remember any costumes that Vivian and I have done. And my memories go clear back to Ascot Park and horse shows in Bath when my sister and I were young. And one of the most memorable costumes I can remember there was I dressed up as a knight and had a full suit of armor that my mother had made out of silver material, and I carried a lance on the horse, and we had a good time.
Oh, that sounds like you were a knight in shining armor. That's how you got your Vivian. All right, Cheryl, wrap us up with
Sure, I'll wrap it up. Okay, so Steve and we're big Elvis fans, and when we went to a Halloween party, he dressed up as Elvis, and I did a costume of his peanut butter and banana sandwich out of styrofoam. It was a lot of fun. I'll put a picture. I have to find it, but I'll put a picture in.
Oh, that's awesome. So again, those of you who didn't get to add, please feel free to send in any photos that are PG. Or at least mature audience, nothing more racy than that, Connor Jarvis. And for ambassadors, do we have anybody that have been engaged with another club? I'm sure Pat Myers has, but she could talk to us in a minute. she's visiting lots of clubs. Have any of the rest of us visited clubs?
Jack Herrig was at Freshwater Bay, Australia, a week ago tomorrow, and wow. They often have very sophisticated speakers, and they had a fellow who was an astrological scientist, and he quite frankly completely baffled me.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Cheryl, your hand is up.
Yep. I attended what was called Zoomtopia for 2 days last week, Thursday and Friday, which was a Zoom conference. And I was amazed at how many Rotarians I connected with at that conference virtually. It was really fun. Just unbeknownst to me, just tons of Rotarians. Out of 300,000 people, I think were on this conference. It was amazing.
That's great. And we've continued to connect with Bob Oborn as he is really being instrumental helping us with our Rotaract team and getting things in order. So Cheryl and Bob have really been doing a great job there.
Dr. Rob, I have one.
I'm sorry?
It's Julie. I
Hi,
have a
Julie.
meeting. I was at a meeting for the Foundation Gala Committee for our district, and we are planning a virtual gala this year, which is slightly disappointing because last year was so very fun. And so November 19th, I believe it's 6, watch for that announcement because we'll be trying to do some fun things, even though it's virtual. So it should be good.
So I think it'll be good. And I challenge you to reframe that. Even though we're disappointed of the past, let's embrace what's coming and it will be awesome. Okay. Got that,
I know
Julie?
it's going to be awesome, but I just wish we could do it again like we did last year.
It'll
But
be
you're
different.
right. I need to think differently.
We all have to get out of our COVID rut and
Right.
think differently. Stu Buchanan, would you like to make an announcement? I know you had a nice note in our column or a nice column in our newsletter.
I would. I just wanted to talk briefly about October 24th. That's World Polio Day. It's a time for Rotarians to raise awareness about our work to eradicate polio. Up to this point, the World Health Organization a month ago said that Africa and Nigeria were polio free of the wild polio virus for over 4 years. And there's only 2 countries left, Afghanistan and Pakistan, that have to have polio, which it would be the eradication of the second time a human disease has ever been eradicated if we can get polio. So in connection with that, Friday the 24th is World Polio Day, and to support that, we're going to have a raffle for 2 tickets to a terrace club and the Indians game next July for End Polio Now night at the Indians. So in order for us to participate in the World Polio Day and raise funds for End Polio Now, we're going to have a little raffle. And in the Rotarian newsletter is information on how to get a ticket. If you will go on there, go to my email, send me a note how many tickets you'd like. For $10, you'd get a ticket. For $20, you'll get 3 tickets. And I think it'd be nice if we could get everybody to participate. And since we don't have any raffle today on the 50-50, well, I thought this would be a good chance for everybody to get involved. Although you need to go to the Rotarian to see where to mail the money and how to email it so we can get you a raffle ticket. We're going to have the drawing in 2 weeks from today, November 3rd. So that gives us enough time for everybody to get their ticket, get a number, and pay me so we can have money to send to End Polio Now for the foundation. Anybody has any questions, just check my email and we'll take care of you.
Okay, that's great, Stu. Thanks so much. And I'd like to propose that our happy dollars today will go to your effort.
Oh,
So
thank you very much. That's great. That's great.
Okay, other announcements, the birth dates, the birthdays that are coming up between now and next meeting is Dan Reynolds on the 20th, David Miller on the 21st, Bill Lowry on the 24th, and Brad Jeffries and Brooks Ames both share the 25th. So happy birthdays. And joining anniversaries, Blake Gurney is coming up on his 1st year anniversary, and Jim Miller is coming up on 3. I see Jack Herrig also has an announcement. Jack?
Yes, this is directed to both our Akron Rotary veterans as well as families of veterans and other Rotarians. A few years ago, Warriors Journey Home, which is a veterans recovery group that I have become affiliated with, started what they call recovery trees or witness trees. And there's one in Fairlawn, one in Wadsworth, one in Talmadge, and one in Greene. And for the 11 days leading up to Veterans Day, we add 22 dog tags each day to the trees. And those represent the 22 veterans each day that are lost to suicide, still part of their service. At the end of on the 11th, we have a larger service. There's a reading each day at the tree. And I would like to invite our veterans. I'll get a schedule out of when the various trees are going to be reviewed, and I'd like to invite people when they can to be there. We're going to play with trying to do one virtual. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jack. Okay, who's happy besides me? I'll bring it home, but let's see who's happy and has some happy dollars today.
I'm happy.
All right, go ahead, Hugh.
Okay, a few weeks ago, Karen and I and her family went out to the Portage Lakes cruise. Judy took us, she has a cruise out there, and we went around the lake. It was a beautiful day, and of course, we came by the camp, and she couldn't speak highly enough. She said, well, this is our camp out on the lake. So it was such a treat, the weather, and it was so nice. And Judy included the camp as it was part of her. So that was, I'll pledge $10, happy dollars, because it was such a nice event.
That's great.
Joseph Foundation.
Who else is happy? Cheryl's happy. And then
Yeah,
Jack.
I'm going to pledge $5 first and foremost because District Governor Pat Myers is with us. Welcome, Pat. We're so glad to have you. We look forward to hearing from you. And also a few bucks for Terry Dalton, who has been a super help with these virtual meetings for me. So Terry, I wanted to pledge in your name. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Jack Herrick.
I'd like to, Vivian and I would like to give $101. $1 for our governor being with us. That's exciting. The other $100 are in honor of the friends we had as children who had polio, for Mike Johns, who started the effort in our district, and for Stu for his continued pursuing of it. And we're just grateful for the announcements that keep coming.
That's great, Jack. Thank you. Anybody else happy? I'm not seeing any hands. If you are, unmute and yell
John
in.
Daly. John Daly.
John
and Stu.
Daly, and then Stu. John Daly, are you muted?
You're muted, John.
You're still muted, John. There you go. There you go.
I unmuted him. There you go.
What happened?
Well, we can now hear you.
Oh, what?
So
I
what-
didn't do anything. Who did it?
Cheryl.
I
Cheryl
did it. We can now do that. So
Oh, okay.
sometimes.
I'd like to donate 10 happy dollars. My son and daughter-in-law were here this past week for a couple of days, visiting from Gunnison, Colorado. The purpose of their trip was to take my daughter-in-law's mother's ashes to a couple of burial sites in Michigan. And then they came down here and visited me for a couple of days before heading back to Colorado. So I'd like to donate 10 happy dollars because I was so happy to be able to see them and visit with them shortly.
Okay, Stu.
I just want to give 10 happy dollars for Pat Myers being with us today. I'm so happy. Pat and I have known each other for probably before she was a Rotarian. So I'm real happy to see Pat. Hello, Pat.
And I'm going to bring us home with 50 happy dollars. 40 for the 40 years I've had of marital bliss with my wife, Sharon. And we celebrated, as many of you commented on Facebook, with a photo that also showed that I had hair in that day too. And I have $5 recognizing Governor Pat. And I have $5 recognizing something that I just won't speak about from last weekend that made me very happy. All right. Thank you, everybody. May I have the speaker slide, Cheryl? I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to introduce our speaker today. Pat Myers grew up in Ohio. She started as a social worker. She got her degree from Kent State University Honors College. where she still serves on the alumni board. She earned an MBA from the McLaren College of Business at the University of San Francisco. Her career has gone multiple directions. She was the director of the Palm Beach County Rehabilitation Center, a grants manager for the state of Florida, board member of the Florida Institute of Governments, which she established, and the executive director of the Foundation Development and Government at Palm Beach Community College and for the Community College System of Florida. In 1990, we're fortunate enough to have her be asked to return to Kent State University to lead a foundation and corporate grants campaign. And for 20 years, she was the KSU legislative agent for the 8-campus system. She was also loaned to be as an executive to the chancellor of the University System of Ohio, and she's received numerous awards that could really cut into her talk. She told me not to give a big introduction, but then she told me she wasn't going to speak very long, so I could do whatever I wanted. So Pat believes in the Rotary vision of service by uniting others to take action and create lasting change in each other, in communities, and her globe. Her Rotary experience started when she joined the Hudson Rotary in 1990 and is a founding member of the Hudson Clock Tower Rotary. That club formed with a dedicated group of Rotarians who saw a need to provide training and future leaders to keep the Hudson community strong. She's on many, many boards and is very, very active. I don't know how she can get everything done when I read this, but she's in many other not-for-profit boards, the Hudson Community Foundation, Western Reserve Girl Scout Council, Florida Arts Council as chair, Florida Philharmonic, Florida Ballet, funding member of Palm Beach County Council of the Arts and Kravis Center for the Arts. Pat and her partner, John Laird, love and enjoy their children and grandchildren and serve as deacons in their church. They were very involved in establishing Students with a Goal program in the Summit Lake neighborhood in Akron. And her hobbies, how she has time for hobbies, include volunteering with the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, traveling, genealogy, and searching out sites from their history. She loves to cook for her family and friends, and John golfs whenever he gets an opportunity, even in New Zealand. Pat is honored and humbled to serve with so many fellow Rotarians who live by values of Rotary and are using their leadership skills to actively bring change and opening opportunities for others. Pat, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next time, I think I'll say I'm going to speak for a long time, so don't bother with me. I am very happy to be here. But before I begin my remarks, I am particularly honored to be with you today for a special recognition entitled the Rotary Unsung Hero Award.
Thank you, Pat. Can you please read that citation?
Well, I'm going to first. I want to talk a little bit about it. If
okay.
And that is to tell you that the award is designed for club presidents to pay tribute to a person whose special service to Rotary has placed them in a category all of their own. A person whose dedication and commitment to Rotary has been given without recognition, without reservation, unselfishly, and not ever asking for credit. Many times it's done very quietly and behind the scenes. And for Dr. McGregor, it was not an easy decision in some ways to determine who was most deserving to share. But ultimately, he had only one choice. And I would like Dr. McGregor to tell us about his selection.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Governor Pat. The unsung hero, as Pat said, is a challenge because I don't know if anybody in this club has said no when I've asked them to do something. So that made it really tough, and you're all unsung heroes to me. This one in particular is a veteran, and if I could flash back to what I would view, I would bet he would be like Radar O'Reilly because he has an uncanny ability to read my needs even when I don't know what my needs are. He's also quite the parliamentarian, as he seems to be taking place as the Robert's Rules champion and helps me direct my board meetings. He also has a passion for scholarships. So I imagine you're starting to figure out who this is. It's actually our club's secretary, Terry Dalton.
Oh, congratulations, Terry. Okay.
Thank you, Rob.
And I would like to read the citation if I might, and I'll read it out loud. It's the district governor citation presented to Terry Dalton. This citation is awarded with deep recognition and appreciation in honor of exemplary service to the Rotary Club of Akron and its members as the 2020-2021 Rotary Unsung Hero, dated this 20th day of October 2020 by a very grateful district governor of District 6630 in Northeast Ohio, USA. So congratulations. I will bring this over to your house, Rob, if that's okay, and drop it off, since we're neighbors here. Almost.
Right up the road.
Yeah,
That's great.
And then you can perhaps have a photo taken with Terry, so you can put it in your newsletter if that's okay.
That'd be great. And thank you, Terry. Cheryl actually did recognize you today. I was going to talk about Zoom, but since she gave happy dollars in your honor, I guess technically you are recognized on occasion. But.
Well, thank you for inviting me to speak with the Akron Rotary Club today. It's really an honor to serve your widely respected and admired club, and a bit intimidating, as I said before everybody came on, to be in the presence of a club filled with outstanding leaders. When I came to the 100-year celebration at the Hilton in Fairlawn and watched the video of your history, I was so impressed with the leadership that you've all provided from the community all these years and given service back to the community. Particularly, I was impressed with your focus on the youth and the Akron Rotary camps, which we use all the time in the district. But how every step of the way, you've used your leadership skills to unite, take action, and create lasting change. From the time I joined the Hudson Rotary, I've had the pleasure to work with many of your club members, including past presidents and district governors. Jack Herrick, who drives the Jeep pulling my club's float to honor veterans and their service at the Hudson Memorial Day Parade every year. I look forward to seeing him. Stu Buchanan, which as he revealed, I've known, and I don't want to say how many years, but it's been since I was 18 years old. And he continues to be Rotary happy. And as you've heard, still continues to try to eliminate polio. He does a wonderful job. And Cheryl Warren, she was my district governor when I was assistant governor, and she still keeps me on my toes every single day. And John Reyes, who I wouldn't be here doing this today if it weren't for John. He's my mentor and guide. He guides me every step of the way with his wisdom, his advice, his counsel. So he continues to use his professional leadership skills to establish programs to protect youth as well as each of us. And I have to mention Vic Parker, who trained me when I was president-elect before he was to be governor. Now I have the pleasure of working with Linda. And I didn't see Lance Kane on this, but he and I were presidents together and went through training. And he was a fantastic membership chair in the district. Then Assistant Governor Julie Brandel, who has chaired the district conference committee for 5 years, I figured out, Julie, and has chaired the public image committee before that. And she's now leading and training as assistant governor the presidents of the 6 Rotary clubs in South Summit and Medina County. Julie shared with me when I talked to her that when COVID hit, your club invited speakers from the community to discuss how the pandemic was affecting their organization. As a result, you found many needs, such as the food bank, and immediately packed a truck for hunger, distributed PPE at the Urban League, and helped with the food drive at the Haven at Rest. Supplied school supplies. My goodness. And you met with community groups like the Urban League and Love Akron and started conversations about diversity and culture. Dr. McGregor shared with me how your club, before all the recent TV coverage of riots, read the book White Fragility, which our club is reading now, and I have right here. And you formed a team who looked at your mission, vision, and developed strategic priorities, including intentionally diversifying club membership and embracing inclusion. I have to tell you, I feel overwhelmed with pride to be a colleague with this club. And here I am looking at all of your faces. And I thank you, Dr. McGregor, for agreeing to use your leadership skills to serve as president of the Akron Rotary Club. I've heard many times that we are where we're supposed to be here at this time this year. When you and I talked, you shared that as a medical professional, you realized even before we had to cancel the All Ohio Pets training in Columbus in March, that you would need to plan differently for your year as president. I heard your concern of understanding the seriousness of the virus firsthand in your work. You looked at how to keep your club members and others safe as they planned their meetings and events for the year. You formed a risk management team of professional, medical, legal, insurance, finance, club members, and developed a rubric to assess the risk if meeting in person or holding events or fundraisers. Rob, your club is indeed fortunate to have you at this time this year. This is a year of change, and like Rotary International President Holger Connect's theme of Rotary opens opportunities, your club is finding opportunities to answer a call for help, to honor people, to provide school supplies, PPE, camp, to unite, take action, to connect, even if staying at home. We're people who love being with others, who share the same core values we've had for 115 years. And I purposely have kept this banner behind me. And at the bottom, if I can lift up my computer, you can see the same core values we've always had of fellowship for 115 years. Fellowship, integrity, diversity, service, and leadership. We like that fellowship. We love to be together. I mean, you all have had lots of social events. I was quite impressed. You like to have fun together. You're having fun together today. And we like to share good news and share concerns, care for others. And we all had to share in this time of stretching and learning new habits. And yes, technology. And I have said we were kicked into using technology whether we wanted to or not. So here we are. How do I see the year ahead? What is my vision and goals? Well, my vision is the same as Rotary International, is that we all together unite and take action. And that my hope is that we all stay, and I'm sure we will, stay connected and engaged. My objectives include sharing with each member the opportunities, resources, and support that Rotary International, the district, and other clubs, including especially your club right now, can provide to each other as the resources become available. And this resource of what you're doing with your goals and with the rubric is one such resource that Dr. McGregor has said I can share with others. Clubs are going to be so grateful. So as we open our eyes and minds, suddenly we can see, as President McGregor is doing, that we can still reach out to others who need a hand. To ask, how can we in our club, district, or Rotary International take this time to look at how we can restructure our committees, our events, our fundraisers, our goals and activities, to think and plan together. Those of us volunteering on district committees are asking questions. How do we meet together when cannot be in person? Do we need to have all these meetings? Can we use technology even after there's a vaccine? Should we have hybrid meetings? How could Rotary International and the district honor donors to the Rotary Foundation annual event to keep the fight to end polio and provide grants for needs relating to the pandemic, shelter boxes for other disasters, youth exchanges that are safe? How can Rotary International and the district supply and provide the support to your club and the officers more effectively? How can we all share ideas and resources? Well, blogs for the district website, we're doing that regularly. Cheryl Warren is working just as hard to put everything up there of different fundraisers, different opportunities that are available, different ways people are doing things, great speakers. We have great speakers that we've been able to bring to our clubs during this time because they can be anywhere in the world. So we need to share them with other clubs so that they can have the opportunity to hear them. Some people in our district, in fact, up in Lake County, 3 of the clubs up there, Willoughby and Chardon and Mentor, they're all sharing speakers together, and they'll have one meeting and have one great speaker that's going to be speaking, or they'll have all the candidates that are running for office at one time and they all join in. The Public Image Committee is working hard at doing things different, finding different ways of using photos and videos. And if you notice, the Rotary International Conference this year was held virtually and free and has all of their materials online and videos. And Zone 3031, the Heart of America, just had in this month of October, offered all of the training for the district governors and held their summit virtually. And all of their materials for each of the classes that they held and breakouts, and all of the videos are on their website. So you can go in and pull them down and use speakers and videos and programs to get ideas. It's a different way of doing things. We don't have to haul all of these things back, as our past district governors will remember when they were going to some of these sessions. The district membership committee that John Reyes, Linda Farkas, Tom Knauer, and Cheryl Warren all serve on, 2-day virtual tri-district membership summit. And the membership committee is developing a 3-year strategic plan with 5 strategic focus areas, one of which is leadership and membership diversity. So you are leading the way on that as well. And you just heard from Julie that the Rotary Foundation annual event is going to be held at 6 o'clock on November 19th, and we're going to do it from the Akron Rotary Camp as a backdrop, exactly like we did with the banner exchange, because we love the camp, we love that background, and we'd like to be able to share with everybody what Rotary does for people with special needs. We have President nominee Jennifer Jones, Rotary International President, nominee, I should say, Jennifer Jones, will be presenting virtually the awards. And your club is filled with amazing donors. And judging by all the recent Paul Harris awards I saw in the newsletter when Linda was going around presenting them for multiple Paul Harrises, I bet your club is going to be the star of the show. But we can't figure out a way to do the dessert dashes yet, but I wonder whether Julie's going to figure that one out. Your club is truly leading the way, and I'm impressed with how fast Rotarians adapted to change this year. I believe that's because of who we are and what we value. Our hearts will continue to seek ways to serve. Last week, past Rotary International President Ian Risley said, "Our challenges are our strengths." And I think that's true. Think about that. Our challenges are our strengths because that's who we are. That's what we as Rotarians do. I'd like, before I close, to share a little story. The All Ohio Pets Conference in March that was to be held, Rob, I was going to be doing the invocation before Governor DeWine was being introduced. And one of the traditions you have to do is you have to supply walk-on music for me to walk on the stage. And I thought, walk-on music? Oh my, let me think about that. I never thought about what walk-on music I want to represent. What I didn't see it as representing me, but as what I believe and what I thought about Governor DeWine. And I thought about him, and I thought about all his years of service, always seeking justice, trying to address needs of people, to do what was right. And I have worked with him for a long time as a legislative agent, and I always found him that way. It didn't matter what his party was. It was what he did that was right. So I was looking through my music, and a lot of it was downloaded by John and his granddaughter. And suddenly I saw a song that I didn't even know I had. And it described Governor DeWine, and I think each Rotarian. It's called, and I break up when I do this, it's called Heart of a Hero by Luther Vandross. It came from a soundtrack about the Army and service. And we had to cancel the program 2 days before, so it was never played. But the memory of the words in the song came back to me as I thought about the actions of your club members. And they're like this: if you are a friend, you have the heart of a hero. Sometimes a hero does not know he's a hero. He is just a plain, ordinary person trying to give someone a hand. Together. Oh, happy day. Inside every heart, there is a hero. You are a hero. Say it, a hero. I'm sorry. I look forward to giving someone a hand with you this year. Forgive me for the tears. So thank you. I'd be glad to take any questions.
Thank you so much, District Governor Pat. We so appreciate it. That was beautiful. Lots of positive comments in the chat room here. So we so appreciate your time. Floor is open for questions, everyone. And I'm going to be switching to gallery mode here, so you can mention something in the chat room, or if I can see you on the video screen, you want to raise your hand, whatever, I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yes, Mela.
Hi. Hey, Pat, I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation today. It was really great. And I also want to thank you and the district for always being so supportive of Akron Rotary Camp. And we're always pleased to have the district here for the various events. So we're looking forward to the holiday party. So congratulations on your year and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much. I love working with you, Mela.
Well, that noon or evening.
And Jack.
Well, Pat, I just wanted to say thank you for Hudson's support of veterans and the recognition that they have done over so many years, and all of the veterans that are in the Hudson Club, the Akron Club, our cluster, and the district. Just thank you. And Pat, you're so gracious.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. You are the one. You're the one that's doing it, Jack. Thank you.
Dr. Doug, oh, Linda, I see your hand up too. Dr. Doug, did you have something a moment ago, or did I just happen to see a hand move?
No, you saw me waving at you. So Pat, as you know, I think you know that I've been working with Rotaract and some of the other youth programs. Some of my interest in that dates back to my fraternity days in Florida. I was just wondering whether your days in Palm Beach County, if you ever crossed paths with Carol Roberts.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Her sons were in my fraternity at the University of Florida many moons ago.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah. Well, we'll chat sometime.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes, I do know Carol.
Thanks for that anecdote there, Dr. Doug. Linda, I'll pass the mic over to you here, our virtual mic.
Thanks, Connor. Pat, I just want to say thank you for the remembrance subject, sometimes forgotten with our club. And I sincerely appreciate your mentioning him and all the contributions he made to Rotary here in our local area and beyond. So thank you. And Dr. Doug, thanks for mentioning our daters. So, and we do, Doug and I do have the Florida connection. So we'll add you to our Florida connection also, Pat. So thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you.
It's great seeing you. Thanks for being part of us today.
It's always good to see you, Linda.
Thank
Pat,
you, Linda. Oh, go ahead. Who's speaking? I apologize. Cheryl, go ahead.
I just sort of jumped in there. Did the Zoom step on you? Sorry about that.
It's all right. I was going to mention your comment in the chat room anyway, so go ahead.
That's okay. Pat, I just want to thank you. It's been a sincere pleasure serving under you this year, as it has been, of course, with John Reyes. But it's been a unique year, and you have really shined. And we thank you for that, and we thank you for all that you're doing. You know, being district governor is a big task, but to have this on top of it with COVID just adds that much more. And you have certainly been a trooper. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cheryl. And I'll mention to anyone that's not actively looking at the chat room, Cheryl commented that the foundation event is posted at www.rotarydistrict6630.org and will be virtual. Registrations required to attend. And so Cheryl has that that web address in the chat room. And of course, Hugh, I'll mention your comment to Linda just as far as Dick always being remembered and what he did for Rotary. So Hugh offering support there again too. Jack, do I see your hand up again?
Yes, I would like to pass on one of our past district governors, Jack Young, is in the rehab unit at Cleveland Veterans Center. And any of you that know Jack, he can take phone calls, he can take emails. He's feeling very much alone, isolated. When he came out of surgery, they now have him at 14 days of isolation, probably has another 7 to go. So keep Jack and Marcia in your prayers. And if you have a notion, give Jack a note. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything else.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Rob.
Yeah, so with 3 minutes to go, I just want to echo the comments that have been made. Pat, you've been inspirational You've been positive. You help us reframe things and remarkably supportive of our club and our year. So we're grateful to have that support. And I'd like to further offer that if there are clubs that could benefit from an offline discussion about any of the projects that you mentioned, we have lots of good leaders that would be happy to connect virtually. So thanks again so much. We also do stay on for 15 minutes after the meeting. If your schedule allows, we'd welcome you to sit in, but it's a chance for those of us who have flexibility in our schedule to have a discussion and maybe a little bit more one-on-one time, which is what we're certainly missing a lot. I'd like to announce next week's speaker is Dr. Tim Collins of Walsh University. He's the president of Walsh University. We had him on our docket last year and had to do some juggling at the last minute. So we decided we'd take advantage of this virtual time to have him join us, thanks to Connor.
Yeah, no, definitely encourage everyone to attend that. Of course, we've had such an incredible lineup of speakers, and I know they're anxious to present, and a lot of neat things happening at Walsh in light of the current environment. Dr. Rob, before you adjourn officially, not to interject there, I wanted to just say before anyone hops off, Julie and Dr. Doug have both requested that to Jack Herrig that Jack Young's information be shared with them if possible, and then perhaps Cheryl, if we can add that to the newsletter as well. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. All right. Any other business before I officially adjourn the business meeting? Hearing nothing, we are officially adjourned, but please feel free to stay with us.
Thank you again, Pat, and thank you for being willing to stay on here. Just fantastic presentation, and we appreciate you and all that you do for the district and in so many other ways as well. So I'll continue to monitor this room here. If anyone just wants to more of a free form, comment or communicate with each other here too. But in case someone's not being seen, I'll be on and continue to watch.
I forgot to mention, and I meant to, that Bob Hughey too has been such a leader in the district with the youth exchanges and giving youth an opportunity and short-term exchanges. And so I have to apologize to Bob. I meant to mention that because he's been wonderful with that. It's tricky this year.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's just, hard to know where students can go, which countries can they get back? Are they
right? Yeah, that's definitely one of the more complicated, programs and just facets of Rotary to continue to keep going in this environment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Looking anyone? We got quite a few folks on still here, but I'll just no pressure anyone.
I can't see everyone. I'm gonna go back to gallery view. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Dr. Rob, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
That's
Connor,
right.
I recall towards the beginning of this year, of my year, you volunteered to teach us how to make a real cocktail virtually.
Yes.
And maybe you and Katie can connect and figure out a date that we can do that, because it's been a couple of months. So
yeah, I agree. Yes, I would absolutely. You're right. I think that was back in August, if I'm not mistaken, that you did your virtual shaken not stirred martini style like James Bond. So I am definitely eager to do that, and I will be sure to reach out to Katie and see if we can get something on the docket. My go-to is the Manhattan. So I like to think I'm somewhat of a bourbon connoisseur, and I'd love to share that with the group to anyone that wants to be on there. So I'll go ahead and set that up for one of our next fun Rotary events here in this virtual environment. All right.
I know somebody else on this call that knows about bourbon.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Or they certainly have given away a lot of it.
Let's see. I'm wondering who that might be.
Yeah, I wonder.
I know.
Oh, yeah, who is it, Julie?
I've been the recipient of such gifts.
I have too, believe it or not, that's a better thing. I even got my bottle.
Yeah.
Yep,
Maybe we should
likewise.
just have a drink from the bottle club.
Oh,
it's
that's
funny.
hardcore.
Wow.
I took a bottle of that, John, today to my, of the double oaked to my therapist, my shoulder therapist. So they were forever grateful.
The Woodford Reserve Double Oaked?
Yeah.
That's good
John
stuff.
Reyes turned me on to it. Yeah.
That's
it was
good stuff.
I'd like to follow up on a comment the governor made regarding
Yeah,
John
Jack.
Reyes. John has been probably the most balanced and thoughtful governor that we've had in years, in his ability to face all sorts of things with absolutely no flap, just sit down, analyze it, and solve it and pass it on. And John, thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when you lack a sense of humor, Jack, you've got to try something.
I agree with you, Jack. He's been amazingly, I can't tell you how much he has helped me and continues to be there to guide me and set me straight if I'm not thinking correct, you know, or haven't considered something. So he has been wonderful.
There's a reason people become leaders when they do, and it's because they were meant to be leaders at that time. And I truly believe that of John, of Dr. McGregor, of you've all done just such an outstanding job.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the fact that we've got Dr. Rob as president in the midst of a pandemic, that's just so ironic as well, too. But more than irony, Cheryl, absolutely. I think more than coincidence for sure.
Let's all give a round of applause for Terry also.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Terry, I know you had mentioned in the chat earlier, for those that didn't see it, that one of the reasons Rotary is just been so meaningful and impactful in your life is that you've truly lived out service above self in all that you do. And there's certainly no denying that in the years that I've had to know you throughout this club and those that have known you for many more years than I've even had the honor to know you. So congratulations again, and more than well deserved, Terry.
Oh, thank you. It's also one of the reasons I have my degree in social work, you know, that probably helps out there. And my days back of being an Eagle Scout and all that kind of good stuff, you know, so. And Cheryl, you'll notice I have one of my other doggies.
I did. I was going to ask you, what's its name?
This is Sophie.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, Sophie.
What is Sophie? What breed is?
She's a Shih Tzu.
Okay.
Combination of a Shih Tzu and a poodle.
Okay.
20 months old.
Oh my. I had a Bichon, you know, for 16, 17 till she died. Years, and I miss her. They look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Those breeds.
Yeah, so Terry, when you were in the service, were you Radar O'Reilly?
No. Actually, I was a medic.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
I had orders for Vietnam, and then I got sent over to Germany. So I spent 30 months in Germany and was at well, initially because I volunteered. I had a draft number of 8. So I volunteered, and I got to be a medic and ended up at a dispensary and ended up doing mental health counseling, drug counseling for, and again, there were a lot of the Vietnam vets that were coming, or the Vietnam guys that had been in Vietnam that were then moved over to Germany to finish up their time. And so the Army's drug rehab program at that time was really pissing in a bottle and getting discharged back to the United States. It wasn't rehab at all, but we were lucky to have a psychiatrist that came once a week and a social worker, master level social worker that came once a week, because we were in an outpost that was really pretty well removed from most of the area. So it was nice to have that support. But so a lot of interesting things come into the dispensary late at night, et cetera. So that was a good experience though.
No wonder you're so non-flappable. I have to echo Connor's comments. And when Pat told me I had this opportunity, I had to do a little research to make sure that you did. I thought, well, surely he's received this award already, but I found out it's not that long of a history of this award. And I always respected and enjoyed you, but I didn't understand the depth that was there because of your listening style. So it makes sense that you started with social work. It absolutely does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I greatly appreciate it, guys.
Caring person.
So John, with you, I know you got visitors. Did you take them swimming with you?
Oh, hold on, John.
Cheryl, can you take care of that?
Hold on, John.
Let me try. I don't know how I was able to do it earlier. For some
There
reason.
you go. You're good now,
him.
John.
I got him.
He's the only one I can do that for.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, no, we didn't have time to go swimming, but we did get to get out and see some of the countryside and got to visit my wife's grave, my son's mother, of course, and just had a nice time. He did some pruning of I call my umbrella tree. It's a crabapple that shades part of our deck, and so it was just a great time having him and his wife and my daughter with us.
Oh,
That's
nice.
great. I'm glad he earned his keep when he was here.
Pardon me?
I said, I'm glad he earned his supper while he was staying with you by doing some of the chores.
Yes, that's always good to have him here for that.
Well, and I bet it made him feel good to be able to do something to help you in some way. He probably feels a little frustrated living away.
I got to say, Dr. Rob, I was hoping for another trivia question today where I got to showcase my knowledge about, photosynthesis and chlorophyll and leaves and all of that after all the haters were, attacking me last week with my answer. I don't mess around when it comes to Starbucks gift cards.
Okay, well, I purchased them this week. So you, Cindy, Kane, and Mella should be getting something in the mail. So I finally went to Starbucks. So I have it. And we'll just paste the actual trivia prize winners to maybe once a month or once every other week, or I'll have to ask for Happy Dollar.
Oh man.
I don't know how you studied up. Polio now. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Stu, did you plant that one, Stu?
So Stu, are you having a lull in your work right now? I mean, your professional work.
Yeah, things are slowing down. I still got a few delinquents, but with the COVID, I guess you have to expect it.
Stu, you haven't been able to call me out in quite some time, and I just want you to know I have a pin with me, so I know we've got our little agreement as far as if I'm not wearing a pin, I owe you $1 or something, or I don't know what we had said it was, but I've always got a spare pin on me thanks to you, and I've got it here proudly, so don't you worry.
I was looking for one on your shirt. I didn't see it.
I got it. It was on my jacket. I don't have my jacket on, so don't you worry. I've got the pin.
We'll let you off the hook today. When you pay up, let me know when you want to pay up, let me know.
Yeah,
I'll tell you how
think
much.
I'll probably, I'll have to add that to my Happy Dollar invoice I got to send into the club still.
There you go.
I didn't realize there was a fine, so I'll make sure that mine are more visible next time.
There we go. I think officially we don't anymore, but I think I had to do it as a little bit of a motivation. Stu and I needed to have a little side bet going on because I felt like I wasn't doing my responsibility.
There are some clubs that do. Some clubs do fine you.
I know.
They have fun with it though.
I pointed out to Dr. Rob last week that he's been on WAKR in the mornings early, discussing what's the impact of COVID's been at the hospital and reassuring people with the improved testing that they're doing at the hospital. And I called it to his attention that he was lucky that we weren't a fining club. And he responded that he couldn't afford to be president if he were under this circumstance.
Well, although I did say I could say no to Ray Horner for 6 a.m. interviews if I could say, well, my club won't let me do it.
Rob, I don't know how you do all you do. You were saying that about me, but you're the one. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's you do what you're called to do, and get it done. But thank you. Your words are too kind, and the club's been very kind and supportive as well. But I've always been blessed with my wife says ADHD. I think it's just high energy. I can pay attention. I just keep going. So. Well, speaking of that, I am actually on service. So I'm actually being a pediatrician on the floors this week. So I am going to have, yeah, I love it. It brings me back to why I do what I do. It's easy to administer in a vacuum because you're not necessarily meeting the needs of your people. So I really feel like, we talked a lot about servant leadership today, and Karen's introduction was that way. I think that there's no other way to do it. So I've got to go model the way. So I'd love to stay and chat. You're welcome to hang out for another 5 minutes or so. And again, Governor Pat, thanks again. You were very graceful and gracious.
Well, go make the kids laugh. That'll be great.
All right. Yes. I'm going to hop off myself. So thanks, Dr. Rob. Go get them. Thank you, Pat. And great to see everyone here, and hope to see all of you next week on our call.